Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're talking about something super practical, how caring for your clothes and appliances is actually a powerful way to care for your time, your money, and well, yourself. Knowing how to maintain your household items is an incredibly empowering skill, especially because it saves you from having to replace expensive clothes or call in costly repair technicians. So consider this your practical survival guide to home maintenance. Here's our agenda for today. We'll be covering decoding your clothing labels, the science of stain removal, the truth about dry cleaning, choosing and using laundry machines, and finally, safe appliance maintenance and repair. Let's get right into it. Section 1. Decoding your clothing labels. We're translating the secret language of your laundry tags. It's actually a pretty simple language once you recognize the basic shapes. Basically, the wash tub means washing, the triangle is for bleach, the square is for drying, the iron is obviously for ironing, and the circle is for professional cleaning. Seriously, if you just memorize these 5 basic shapes, you've already won half the battle of laundry day. Now, the really crucial point here is to look for the modifiers. If you see a little bar underneath a symbol, it's telling you to be gentler, like use a delicate cycle. A double bar? That means be very gentle. And if you see a big X over anything, that is a strict warning to avoid that process completely. So, an X over a wash tub, literally do not put it in the washing machine. It really is that simple. Moving on to Section 2, the science of stain removal. The golden rule here is like dissolves like. So what does that mean? Well, for instance, you absolutely must treat protein stains, things like blood, sweat, or dairy, with cold water. If you use hot water, you're literally going to cook the protein into the fabric permanently. No way around it. But for oil and grease stains, like food grease or motor oil, water won't even touch it. You need a degreaser. And honestly, everyday dish soap is built for exactly this, because grease cuts grease. Now, no matter the stain, there are a few golden rules you always want to follow. First, act fast. Second, always blot instead of rubbing. Rubbing just drives the stain deeper and frays the fibers of your clothes. Also, tannin stains like coffee or wine need actual detergent, not bar soap. And here is a huge one. Never, ever put a stained item in the dryer or iron in it until you are 100% sure the stain is gone. If you apply heat to a stain, you're going to bake it in forever. Okay, Section 3, the truth about dry cleaning. And spoiler alert, it's not actually dry. Yeah, dry cleaning actually uses chemical solvents instead of water. That's to protect delicate fabrics that water would otherwise shrink or destroy. But here is the catch, the chemical they use. The most common solvent is called PERC, and it's used by about 80% of dry cleaners. Just as a quick general health note, and definitely not medical advice, PERC is a toxic pollutant that off-gasses. So if you do get clothes dry cleaned, it's highly recommended to take them right out of the plastic and air them out in a well-ventilated space before you wear them or hang them in your closet. All right, Section 4, choosing and using laundry machines. This is all about making the best choice with what you have. So many modern machines, especially front loaders, are labeled HE for high efficiency. That just means they use way less water and energy, which is fantastic for saving money on your bills. But here's the trick. You absolutely must use HE detergent. If you use regular, super sudsy detergent in a low-water HE machine, it just won't rinse out properly. That leads to extra wear and tear on the machine and can cause some really nasty mold growth inside the drum. Now, older machines are usually simpler and really durable, even if they use a bit more water and electricity. Modern machines are super efficient, but they use these complex proprietary electronics. And if a modern machine breaks, please don't just blame yourself. Unfortunately, manufacturers sometimes use what's called a sealed tub design. This basically means a cheap $20 broken bearing can't be reached, which forces you to do a multi-$100 drum replacement. This repair-hostile design is exactly why the right to repair movement is fighting so hard for consumer independence, demanding access to parts and manuals so we aren't forced to just throw things away. Which brings us to Section 5, safe appliance maintenance and repair. We're talking about taking control of your home safely. Let's start with a really common, honestly frustrating problem. Say your washer isn't draining right, or your dishwasher just stinks and isn't cleaning your plates. You might panic and think the machine is totally broken. But before you call an expensive technician, you should know that the culprit is almost always just a hidden filter. For front-load washing machines, just check the bottom front panel for a drain pump filter. It catches stuff like coins, hairpins, and lint. But hey, quick safety tip, always put a towel and a shallow pan down first because water will spill out when you open it. And for your dishwasher, just twist out the bottom cylinder in the tub to clear out old food debris. Doing this regularly will literally keep things running perfectly and save you so much money. Okay, we have a really critical safety warning next. Clothes dryers cause thousands of house fires every single year, and the number one cause is hidden lint. Even if the visible lint screen looks perfectly clean to you, lint gets packed into the exhaust duct behind the machine, and that is a massive fire hazard that you absolutely must take seriously. So, what are the warning signs? Well, if your clothes take forever to dry or the body of the machine itself gets extremely hot to the touch, those are major red flags. If you see that, carefully clean that duct out with a vent brush kit. Also, remember to wash your actual lint screen with soap and water occasionally. Why? Because dryer sheets leave an invisible, waxy residue that completely clogs the tiny holes in the screen, trapping the heat inside. You can actually test it by running water over it to see if it pulls up. Let's move over to the kitchen. If your garbage disposal just hums and won't grind, you might think it's completely destroyed. But how do you safely unjam it without risking your fingers or, paying a plumber? First and foremost, huge safety check here. Never, ever put your hand inside a garbage disposal. Never. Instead, step one is you must safely cut the power, unplug it, or turn off the breaker entirely. Step two, use a hex wrench in the little slot on the very bottom of the unit under the sink to manually rock the blades loose. Step three, pull the debris out from the top using tongs. Again, never your fingers. Step four, press the red reset button on the bottom. And step five, run cold water. Cold water is key here because it congeals grease so it can actually be ground up, whereas hot water just smears it all around. Finally, if you've got a backed up sink, skip the harsh chemical drain cleaners. Seriously, avoid them. This is another big safety flag. Those chemicals can cause severe burns and they actually damage older pipes. Instead, do this. Safely pull the clog out using a cheap plastic Zip-It drain snake, or just manually unscrew the P-trap, that U-shaped pipe under the sink. Just make absolutely sure you have a bucket underneath when you do it. Which brings us to a quote that really captures our main takeaway today. Caring for your clothes is a way of caring for yourself, your money, your time, and your comfort. Knowing how to care for your clothes and appliances isn't just another chore. It's a highly practical, empowering way to protect your resources. When you know how things work, you just aren't at the mercy of expensive replacements or repairs. So, armed with this practical, resource-saving knowledge, which of these empowering maintenance skills will you tackle first in your own home? Maybe you'll go check that hidden washer filter, or finally decode the tags on your favorite shirt. Reclaim your independence and use these tools to take control of your space. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.